Sometimes, as a photographer, there are locations that seem so far away, so inaccessible, so unattainable, that you don't even dream that you'd be able to shoot them. And for me, this is Torres del Paine National Park, a location that I have wanted to visit for so many years and never ever thought that I would have the opportunity. So to wake up on this morning in Torres del Paine National Park, this was quite literally a dream come true for me.
So we split the group into two. Half of the group have gone to a lake where you can shoot the cuernos, which are these horns here. You can shoot those in the background of your image of a lovely lake and driftwood. Hopefully I'm going to go there tomorrow. At the moment I'm with the other half of the group, and we are down by this beautiful river that leads up to the Paine Grande, which is this awesome mountain here. It's not sunrise yet, it's pre-sunrise, and it is absolutely fantastic. It truly is. So we have our position here. There are lots of other photographers around. I mean, just from here I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 5 or 6 in our group. There's 3 more down there. So this is a popular spot, but we've come up to this viewpoint where there's nobody else here. There's just me, Darren and Keith on this, this small hill with an overlook of the river running up to the Paine Grande. And it's just superb. I'll very quickly talk you through my composition and my thoughts. So I'm not trying to get clever with this, okay? It's just the case of balancing everything out, balancing the river in the foreground with the superb Paine Grande in the background, which is the mountain. So the light is just starting to hit the peaks of Paine Grande, and it's superb. Now I did drop in a 4-stop ND filter because my shutter speed was coming down to about ½ a second as the ambient light gets brighter. But I didn't like it. I didn't like they gave me an 8-second exposure there or thereabouts, and I didn't like it. Compared to a shutter speed of about ½ a second where you still get motion in the water, but it also retains a bit of detail, giving it more texture, more to look at, and I prefer that. But yeah, now this image is really coming to life. And it's all because of that kiss, that tiny bit of pink light on the peaks of this mountain. There's 2 peaks either side of the mountain, and they are just catching, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Simple composition, lovely light. Yeah, we're having a great morning. It's fantastic. So we're at a place called Lago Grey, or Lago Grey, I don't know, my accents are rubbish. It's basically a glacial lake.
So as I talk into the camera here, it's obvious that the wind speeds are far too high to record any kind of quality audio, but I was explaining that we were heading towards a glacial lake, but it's more of a scouting mission. It's the middle of the day, we're not expecting anything, but we're going for a beautiful walk and to see if we can find any new locations to shoot.
So we're in a bit more of a sheltered spot here. The wind isn't as bad, although it's still not great. Now we're at this this lake that I mentioned. What's this place called? So walking across this lake and this whole area is really beautiful. It's like this huge area of moraine and then we have a lake with icebergs and huge mountainous backdrop behind me there. It's gorgeous. But it's quite funny because the whole group have gone down shore that way, headed straight for the icebergs, leaving behind just me and Rich, who both immediately saw this lovely grove of trees here in the corner, sat against a glossy black rock. It's beautiful. The contrast in the colour, the reds, the yellows against the black rock is phenomenal. Now, it's not perfect. I still haven't found my perfectly orange tree standing out against a perfectly black background, but this isn't far off. So this is quite exciting, but there are a couple of problems. You see, there's two things that I don't like about this. One is there is a sign, and the sign is there for good reason. It's to stop people walking down this makeshift jetty, which I assume at one point was a boat landing or something. So there's a sign here, and it basically says no entry. And that sign is right where I want to shoot. So my composition I've managed to frame without the sign in, which is good, but you know, I wish it wasn't there so I'd have a bit more flexibility. The second problem with this area is this this wooden wall. I think it's a wall, like a pier wall or jetty or something. That completely kills the scene dead. So without the sign and without the wall, you could do a lot here with these trees and that black rock. But because of the wall and because of the sign, you're very limited to a tight-in composition. That's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'll show you my composition, and I'll talk you through my settings very quickly because it's windy, and yeah, I'm not sure the quality is going to be there with this video. And haven't got Greg doing my sexy B-roll. I don't know where he is. So essentially what drew me to this scene was the colour, the greens, yellows, reds set against the gloss, shiny black rock. And it just looks like it's seeping water, that's why it looks so glossy. First things first, I put a polarizer on. That makes the black really black. Because the rock's wet, you can get rid of that glare, so you get rich black tones in the rock. It's fantastic. I've dropped my f-stop down to f at 5.6 because it's super windy and those leaves are rustling in the wind. I want a fast shutter speed. Every now and again the wind drops, that's when I take my photograph. But f5.6 alone is not enough to get a fast shutter speed, so I've ramped my ISO up to 640, which is a high ISO, but it's totally worth it to just get like a fast shutter speed to freeze the motion of those leaves. I don't want a blurry tree. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'm shooting this on the long lens. I'm at 135 millimeters, and I don't know, I saw this from miles away, and again it comes back to not being distracted by the big picture. I've shot those mountains, I'm going to shoot those mountains, but for me it was all about this corner, the grove of trees, and the beautiful contrast in colour. So it's sort of mid to late afternoon now, and we're hiking towards the Mirador Cuernos, which is a lake that sits at the bottom of this iconic mountain, which is the Cuernos, and that means horns, and you've got these two granite horns. I'm not going to get to the geology, but they're not all granite. There is some other rock on top, so some other stuff on top, and it's just, I'll do that again. So the Cuernos, that means horns, and that's these two iconic peaks here. And they are just, they're so good, so photogenic, and this lake is at the bottom of them, and I cannot wait to get there and shoot. But even the hike to the lake, man, I can't stop walking and filming it and grabbing shots on my phone because it's just breathtaking, actually breathtaking. So we've arrived at the lake now. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just had a very, very quick session with one of our participants, Chris, and she just wanted to see what I would do when I arrived at this location. And for me, if you come somewhere like this, I wanted to get a nice simple image. These mountains are phenomenal. I wanted it clean, simple, something in the foreground, so I placed, that's right, I placed this log here in the foreground leading up to the mountains. It's an obvious composition, but it's beautifully clean and simple. We've got some great weather above the Cuernos, and I wanted to show that, so I went for a 30-second exposure with a 10-stop. Now I've got this image. I'm happy with this image. I've got it in the bag. Now I'm going to go explore and see if I can find something a bit different. So it goes back to sort of what I've been saying this week, is get the big shot, get the icon, and then try and find something a little bit different. So we are now going to walk and see if we can find something a bit different. So the challenge we set ourselves, or rather the challenge that Chris set me, was to, instead of framing the mountains here with the classic composition of the lake, instead of doing that we want to use the trees. There's hundreds of dead trees because of a forest fire that ripped through here in 2011. And as a result we have all these skeletal branches. In fact, you saw one of them in my earlier composition. So we have walked a long way. We've been walking for about half an hour just looking for that one single tree to include in our composition, and it's so difficult because it's so chaotic, incredibly chaotic. And we walked and we looked and we walked and we looked, and there was nothing, and then we did one final push over the last ridge. Hey presto, here's our tree. And it kind of works. We're trying to get separation between the tree and the Cuernos, which is the mountain, and looking at it, I'd say pop the tree dead center, align it with the two horns, focus on the tree, and make sure, this is the difficult bit and the bit that a lot of people will overlook, make sure that none of the fingers of the tree go past the ridges of the mountain. So you don't want the tree intruding into the sky. That's very important. But Chris is setting up now, so when she's got her image, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to take it. And there's only room for one, because I'm like, literally, if you get your composition wrong by 2 or 3 inches, those fingers go into the sky, and in my opinion kind of kills the image. So the weather's really moved in, it's really coming in now, it's getting windy, it's starting to rain. So I'm just going to show you very quickly exactly what me and Chris have both worked on, and it was just a case of spending a good half an hour finding the right subject. I didn't think we would, it was literally the last tree. And then we spent so long tweaking the composition inch by inch till finally we sort of aligned everything correctly in frame. So here we are. I'm going to grab the shot now so I can show you. Yeah, it's nice, it's different, that's what's cool about it. So I'm at F9, I'm focusing on the tree, we've got the tree bang dead center, the Cuernos in the background, and it's just a case of changing to a 2-second timer instead of a 10-second timer. Hoping I've not got any rain in my lens. Take the shot. There. And that's it. Well worth the effort, I think. Definitely. So that's pretty much it. The tree was the final shot. By the time we got back, the light's gone, the sun's set, the wind's picked up, the rain's coming. It's definitely time to go home for dinner. So it's been a good afternoon. I've definitely bagged a few images that I'm happy with. Very productive, very tiring. Yeah, I guess there's going to be more to come tomorrow. So until next time, bye for now.